What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. We got to talk about the Detroit Pistons and this young core because they're just absolutely flooded with potential. This is a top 3, top 4 young core in this league, depending who you rank higher or whatnot. I want to break down some guys on this team. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But I just talked about Cade a couple days ago. Cade, I think, is going to be so great in this league. I want to put a lot of light on guys like Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren. I want to talk a little bit about Isaiah Stewart, even a little bit about James Wiseman. But I really kind of want to focus on the core 4 of Cade, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thompson, and Jalen Duren. Those are going to be the guys that I talk the most about in this video. So my question to you guys is, who are you most excited of the core 4? Or even if you wanted to throw in guys like Beef Stew, James Wiseman, who are you most excited to watch this season? Who are you most excited to see develop? And where do you rank this Detroit Pistons young core? Because I think they're definitely in that top 3 conversation probably. I think it's OKC and Orlando are probably the ones competing with it right there. But I think they're somewhere definitely in there for sure. But the potential in these young dudes is amazing. Real quick, we'll talk about Cade because I did just talk about him in a pretty decent video very, very recently. I think this dude's going to be like a 24-7-7 kind of guy this year. I think the potential on him is forgotten about. I think a lot of people are not talking about him. He's been absolutely killing it in Team USA, and by a lot of accounts been the best player on the floor in that, and that's with some of the other best players on the planet. So I like Cade. But let's hop into some other guys like Jalen Duren, because I think Jalen Duren is a monster amongst men. This is a dude that was like the youngest player in the league last year, and he gave you 9 points, 9 rebounds in limited minutes. He only played like 25 minutes a game. Only started like 30 games, was in kind of a crowded front court, but was a very, very good lob threat, an impressively good defender for his young age. Great rebounder, like just a monster on the glass. And I think getting a guy like Cade back, getting Ivy with another year, Asar Thompson with some passing ability, a lot of other dudes that are going to set him up for easier looks. I think we could potentially have a great season, a great year 2 coming for Jalen Duren. There's been a lot of hype coming out of him about this Team USA camp as well. Like I said about Cade, Duren's been there too, and he's been almost as good, maybe even better in some people's eyes, because he's been out there destroying a lot of guys on the glass, couple nice dunks, even putting on some jumpers a little bit. Like Jalen Duren has been really, really good in this offseason. If you watched his summer league, he was kind of hinting at getting his jump shot. He was taking some off the dribble jumpers, and they were looking good. The form looked good. So if you get a dude that's his size, he's only 19, with his ability, and a guy that can pretty much fly around the court, can be a lob threat, can rebound, he's pretty much like the perfect prototypical guy that you want behind Cade and Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson, right? That kind of protection there is really, really impressive. I would hope that he gets 30-plus minutes a game this season. I think he could easily, given the pecking order of this team and how the shots are probably going to be divvied up, he could easily be like a 13-11 kind of center on this team. That might be a little high on the points just because, like I said, like the pecking order. But if he gets more minutes, the rebounds and stuff's going to be there. The blocks is going to be there. He's going to have a lot of nice poster dunks. Watch out for year 2 Jalen Duren. Now, I think that somebody going into year 2 that has probably the hardest role on this Pistons team is Jaden Ivey. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? He's getting Cade back. They're going to have another year of Duren. Like, things should be easier. They got Asar Thompson. Like, he's going to have a lot less of workload. My main reason that I think Jaden Ivey has the hardest role on this team is it's going to be the first time in a very long time, maybe ever, that he's had to learn really how to play off ball. He's going to have to become a better defender, which as his rookie season went along, he did get better. And he did say this offseason to The Athletic, hey, making that defensive leap is one of my goals. It's one of my one of the biggest things that I'm determined to do this offseason is to get better defensively. So that's a good thing to hear. But when, he's been a guy that, these dudes have been stars all the way through their life right now in basketball. They've been the top guy on most of their teams. They get the ball. They bring the ball up. They're the ones in control. When you have to now give the ball up and let somebody else do their thing, and you got to be, you got to cut. Like, you see a lot of NBA players that are like even Paul George on his podcast is like, I don't know how to cut. And it's like, there's a lot of players in this league that struggle learning how to play off ball. So that might be I think that's a difficult task for Jaden Ivey. That's going to be a big task for him. I do think he's more than capable of being able to do it, though. But you're basically going to ask a guy learn how to be a number 2 option for the first time. You're going to have to ask him, all right, be ready to create as that number 2. Be ready to shoot more. Like, there's a different role than he's ever played. And I think that's something that is there's a lot of complications in that for an NBA player. But as his rookie year went along, he did get a lot better with his shooting. He did get a lot better with his creating for others and his passing. His mid-range game kind of came along. The three-point game kind of came along. Got really, really good in terms of using his speed and switching speeds to get where he wanted to go. Started to really figure it out in the fourth quarter of a lot of games down the stretch as a rookie. So I think we saw like the blueprint for what he can be and the potential that has always been there. So it's just about, can he succeed in this role, in my opinion. It's a lot of pressure for a young guy, but he is ultra talented, and he's definitely got the talent to overcome this pressure that I'm kind of putting on him. But I think a lot of other people kind of see this the same way. If you disagree with his role that I have in my head, let me know in the comments. What do you kind of expect from Jayden Ivey? But I think there's a lot of different ways you can go about Jayden Ivey's year 2 season. All right, so let's talk about the last piece to this core 4, in my opinion, Asar Thompson, right? Top 5 pick this year, looked amazing in Summer League, but, he is a top 5 pick. But I think he's actually got probably the easiest role on this team because he has to come in, and he's not the number 1 guy, he's not the number 2 guy. He's probably going to come off the bench. I think he'll come off the bench just for the shooting and spacing purposes of getting Bojan in there, and I think they like Isaiah Stewart enough to start him. But getting him off the bench is nice because this is a guy now he can go in there and play against some bench players to start off. He's already going to be an elite defender. He has potential to be the best perimeter defender in the entire NBA. And this is just Summer League, so let's take it with a grain of salt. But he was, averaging almost like 3 steals and 2 blocks. And he's a monster on the glass. I think he averaged 13 points and 10 rebounds, or 14 points, 10 rebounds. And he's a guard, essentially guard/forward. So getting 10 boards. The passing is there, 3 or 4 assists. He's got this raw potential to be able to do pretty much everything on the floor. And, he's going to get the opportunity to be looked at as the 4th guy you're worried about coming off on the scouting report. So he's not going to see the Mikal Bridgeses. He's not going to see Jaren Jackson. He's not going to see a lot of these guys covering him one-on-one. I think his role is a little simplified in that case, and I think that, can make the game a lot easier for him to learn. But I think we're going to see a lot of defensive masterclasses from him, a lot of transition highlights. The dude is a freak of nature. They got a really, really nice blend of defense here if Ivy takes that leap as well. I know Cade wants to do it, but Duren's a good rim protector. We know Asar is going to be very good on that end. So you got 3 or 4 guys here that are kind of we know we got to be good defenders. And 2 of them already kind of are, in my opinion. I already think that Asar and Duren are. And I think it's about Cade and Ivy taking that leap. And you got a core 4 that can absolutely lock down anybody if they become that, of course. We can talk a little bit about Isaiah Stewart because I do think he definitely has a role on this team. I think he could definitely be the starting power forward. He's kind of taken some leaps in terms of his shooting over the course of his first couple of years. I think before his shoulder injury, he was shooting 35% from 3 last season. That's a big uptick from what he'd done before. And then, I think the shoulder injury kind of caused him to go down to 33%. But before that, he was about 35% for most of his season. I think, if he continues to gain in that three-point shooting area, he's definitely going to have a role. He's a very, very infectious energy. The dude is a monster on the glass. And just the hustle, he's one of those glue guys on this team that you absolutely love to have and hate to play against. But if he gets that 3 ball into that 38, 39% range, you're looking at a 3-and-D big guy, which you don't see those very, very often anymore, or at all for that matter. He could definitely keep going. There's still some potential left that's untapped in him. And there's guys like James Wiseman who, they haven't quite figured it out in their NBA career, but he is untapped potential. We don't know how great he can be. Will he figure it out? I don't know. I like guys like Stewart and Duren ahead of him. I think those guys should be the ones that you're definitely giving the bulk of the minutes to. But, Wiseman coming off the bench, maybe you get something there. Maybe he kind of shows that he can be a rotational center, or maybe he takes a huge leap. We don't know. Some guys are late bloomers, but they did it was a buy low, low risk, high reward kind of trade to get Wiseman on their team. So, maybe something happens there. I do think there is something still there, but we got to see it. It's got to happen. So who are you most excited for on this Detroit Pistons team coming this season? My answer is Cade. I didn't talk about him a ton in this video because I did a video previously on him. If you're interested in that, it's on the channel. I'll probably make it in the little thing right here where you guys can click on it. I do think, Cade is going to be the top guy on this team. I'm super excited for Jayden Ivey, though. I think that's going to be the guy that has the most pressure out of all of them. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process on that. And then where do you rank the Pistons young core? I got them top 3, somewhere with the Thunder and the Magic. Those 3 teams going to be so much fun this year. Can't wait to watch them. But anywho, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But I'm done. Thanks.